Hi guys, so I'm so excited to be back in class. This is a continuation video of our foundation class. Yes, so I believe you must have seen the video on how to take accurate body measurements, and even before that you must have seen introduction to sewing. You must have seen body shape. You already know if you're apple, you're triangle, if you're inverted triangle. If you're here to see those videos, you don't want to miss. So go back and see the videos. The link will be in the caption wherever you see this video, probably on our Telegram, probably on Facebook, on our Instagram, TV, on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is something I always love to talk about. Yo, that channel, you don't want to miss it. Just go there. Don't let me start saying so that you don't think I'm trying to sweet stop things for you. Go on our YouTube channel and subscribe to that channel. You want to get a video first time, right? So today, what are we doing? Today we're moving to the next topic on our course outline, which is how to sew, how to cut and sew basic top. I'm so excited. You know now, your number one tutor, always excited. So let's just rush down to the whole business before we come back and show you what we made. I'm so excited. At this point in time, I want to believe that you have all your necessary measurements because you have seen the video on how to take accurate body measurements. That was an interesting video. So with the measurements, I'll tell you the ones we need for the basic top. You know, we take it one step at a time. We're not rushing. Did I say rush the other time? No, we're not rushing. We're taking it a step at a time. This is foundation class. You know, our foundation must be solid. So what measurement do we need today? I'll write that on the board for you, and I also type it. So I'm always giving you full dose. So these are the equipment, materials that we need for today. So you need a chalk or a marker, you need the scissors, you need a ruler, you need a pattern paper. It should be brown or white, but even if it's a newspaper that you have, my sister, my brother, get it, and let's get to work. Nothing is stopping us. Even with your needle and thread, we are working, and we're going to wear it, and we're going to show the world that we are good at what we do. Guys, these are the basic measurements that we need for the top. We need the shoulder, the bust points, the bust circumference, the half length, and also the natural waist. That's the circumference, the lower waist, in case you're making a longer top. And if it's a crop top, you might not need the lower waist because the length of the blouse won't get there. You also need your armhole circumference to determine what your armhole will be, if you're attaching a sleeve or not. And also you need blouse length to know how long your top will be. You can either call it a blouse length or a top length. So to take your blouse length, it depends on how you want it. If you want it to stop on your hip line or above your hip line, I want this one to stop above the hip line so I can still make reference to the hip line. So this is 22. The hip line is actually somewhere around 23, but it's not exactly on the hip line. So I'll be using 22. And also for the lower circumference of the lower waist, so I'll come somewhere here where I stopped the blouse length and measure it. It's not on the hip. You didn't get to the hip. It's in between. Somewhere in between, so I'll be using 35. Right now I'm on the cutting table and I want to cut it out on my paper so that I can transfer to the fabric. So I'll be using this rim marker so that it can be obvious. The first thing you need to do is that you need to leave a space to know your starting point so that you can have the starting point and not mix everything up. So this will be my this is my starting point. The first thing I'll take is my blouse length, which is 22. So on line 22, I'm going to mark it horizontally. I'll label every one of them accordingly. So this is my blouse length, and from the shoulder, I will also mark my bust points. My bust point is 9.5. So I'll mark 9.5. I'll rule it. I also mark from my shoulder. I think I need to label this so that you know that this is the shoulder line. And I've labeled it as SH. So from the shoulder line, I will come to the natural waistline and I'll mark it. Then I will also connect the line across. So I want to label the line so that we don't get confused at this point. This straight line right here is what we call the center front. The center front. So you remember I said this is our shoulder line, which happens to be our starting point where we took the shoulder to the bust, to the blouse line. So from the shoulder now, this is my bust point. I'm going to write, this is the bust line, this is the fullest part of the bust. So I'm going to note that. Then I'll note my waistline as well. This is my waistline. You can see the lines are there, so they won't be mixed up. So the next thing I want to do now is that I want to measure the armhole depth. You know, I said we should measure our armhole circumference. So what I'll do right now is that I'll measure my shoulder to shoulder first, then I will know how to come down to get the armhole shape. So to get my shoulder to shoulder, the one for my body form is 15. I'll divide it by 2, and that's 7.5. So I'll mark that point where 7.5 is. Remember, this is the center front, so I divided it by 2 to get 7.5. Because this is unfold. Let me write it for you. Unfold. Anytime you see unfold, it means that you are cutting that particular line unfold, the center front unfold. So back to my shoulder line, I've divided by 2 and I have 7.5. Then I'll come in with the depth of my armhole circumference divided by 2. So for my mannequin, the armhole circumference is 14. So I'll divide by 2, which is 7, and I'll note where 7 is. So on the point where 7 is, I'll connect the shoulder to shoulder line here. I'll connect it straight down. So I'll connect it straight down. Then on that line 7, I'll make sure I extend it out. So you can see that we already have something that is looking like our armhole already. So what we're going to do is that, remember that our shoulder is not straight as human. So on the shoulder, I'll be coming down with 0.75 inches, you know, to create my shoulder slant. Mind you, we need to create our neckline so that we can connect the line for the shoulder slant. I don't know what type of neck you want, but this is a basic class. So for the neckline, I'm going to leave about 3 inches from the center front line. Remember, this is our center front line. So I'll leave 3 inches from here. Then on the depth, I'm going to go down by 3 inches as well, because I don't want it too high. Then I will use the French cuff to connect the neck. You can actually use your hand to connect it if you wish. You know, you just try and just connect it this way. And back to my shoulder slant. You know, I just have to create the neck so that I don't get you confused. From our shoulder line, I mark 3 inches for my neck, depending on what neck you want. But this is a foundation class and this is the basic. So on that point, I came down by 3 inches on my center front line. So now back to the shoulder slant. Remember, our shoulder is not straight as human being. So I'll be connecting it from that my neckline to the 0.75 that I came down with, and that will give us shoulder slant. You can look at your shoulder yourself. Your shoulder is actually not straight. There is a slant there. So this is the slant we have created right here. Hope it's making sense already. It's looking like it. So let's continue the journey. So on my armhole depth line, I'm going to locate the center line on this line. So on the center, I'll come in by 1/2 of an inch because it's the basic. So I'll come in with 1/2 of an inch. I know you're wondering, why are we coming in? A lot of people make their dress and there is this bulge on the armhole, between the armhole and the sleeve. It's not right. So we are going to take the excess that I want to occur out right away on our pattern paper. So I'll connect it from the shoulder slant to the new mark, to the new line, and also to the armhole line. This is our armhole line, remember, represented as AH. So I'll connect 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. So I'll connect it. You can see I can easily connect it at once, but I understand that you are a beginner. You might find it difficult to connect at once. You don't have to use a French curve. Do you think it's a joke? I'll connect it with my hand and you're going to see that. You can see I'm careful and it's connected. So on the other part again, wow, so I connected it with my hand. So if I can't do it, then you can do it. So let me see what it looks like using a French curve. Oh, wow, 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 wow. So you can see I still have it. So this is our armhole. So now we're moving on. Hope you're getting it. Okay, so it's very, very simple. Now I'm about to take the body measurement. Remember, we have our bust point line. We measured our shoulder to bust point. We have our waistline. We measured from our shoulder to our waistline. We measured from our shoulder to get the blouse length as well. So to take our horizontal measurement, we are dividing by 4. You know this is on fold, and the back two is going to be 2 pieces. Because this is on fold, like I said, whatever we do here is times 2, and whatever we do there is times 2. Altogether we have 4. Is that a bit confusing? Okay, let me look for another way to tell you about it. This is quarter of the body circumference. So whatever you're doing is divided by 4. 4 is quarter, right? So this is 1 out of the 4 pieces, but this is on fold. You're not slashing at the center. I'm sure you understood right now. So now the bust point measurement divided by 4. The bust circumference, the bust circumference for my body form is 34. So 34 divided by 4. So 27 divided by 4 is 8 1/4. So, but this is it. But instead of using 8 1/4, because the dart would be on the waistline, you had an extra inch to it. So instead of using 8 1/4, I will use 9 1/4, because I will have to leave 1 inch for my dart. Okay. So on the blouse length, we're going to take note of the circumference 2 and divide by 4. If you measure it directly on your hip, that means it's still your hip circumference that you're using for the blouse circumference. So for my mannequin is 36, and 36 divided by 4 is 9, so I'll use 9. So what I'll do right now is that I'll connect the 3 lines together. If you notice the waistline feels like it came out a little, it's because we added 1 inch to it. Although the shape you get here might not look exactly like this, it depends on what body shape your client has. Probably apple, diamond, you know, we've already spoken about body shape, so it doesn't really matter. And we are eventually going to take in 1 inch for that. Yeah, that was why we added extra 1 on the waistline. So we're going back to the armhole now, and we're going to measure the armhole circumference. The armhole circumference from the body form is 14 divided by 2, that is 7. So from here I'll measure 7 inches. This is where my point 7 is. So from this point 7, I'll connect it to the bust point. Everything I'm doing in this class, I made it so simple, and I try to come down with the terms that you can relate with as a foundation class student. So now this is what we have. This is it without the allowance. This is our basic top for the front. You know, we added 1 extra inch on the waistline, so we want to note it for the dart. So what you have to do is that you need to measure your bust span, which is your nipple to nipple measurement. So from one nipple to another, you need to measure it and note it. For my body form, the distance is 7 inches. So that is the point. And on that 7 inches, I'll have to take out ½ inch on both sides. But let me measure the 7 inches first so I don't get confused. So moving it up, I will make sure that it's 1 inch below the bust point on both sides. Then you connect to the upper part exactly the way I'm doing it, because you want your blouse to have a very good fit. This is our dart. So by the time we bring this in, you know, our waist will come to the front. Don't forget I said that 1 inch below the bust point and 2 inch before the blouse length. So the next thing we do right now is that we want to create allowance for our top. Excuse me. So as a beginner, I would advise that you create a minimum of 1 inch sewing allowance. I mean for the dress, because I'm not saying that you definitely make mistake, but just in case. Do you understand? So you want to add allowance to it. So you connect the lines. So you can see this is your sewing allowance. I think I should indicate it with another color of marker. So this is your sewing allowance, this is your sewing allowance, this is your sewing allowance. So I know someone is wondering if you're going to add sewing allowance to every other part. Yes, but you need just like a 1 cm allowance. But because we are still using inches, you can use 1/4 of an inch to create allowance through the armhole and the neckline, so that if you want to use bias to tape your neck, or you want to use facing, there is something you're attaching to. So I'll do that quickly with another marker. Then you see. For the blouse length as well, you will fold it at the hem line. So you want to add probably 1 inch if you want to put lining, or you want to just hem it, probably with hemming gum or what have you. So you add the 1 inch extra allowance. Then on this, I know this is basic, but on the side you don't want it angular, so you can just make it this curvy, so that you don't have it angular. You can see I did that with my hand. It's not a magic. So at the end of the day, this is going off. Isn't that interesting? Very, very interesting, right? So this is what it looks like. Please remember to use your measurement and not use mine. Don't use my body form measurement. So the accurate body measurement that you took is the measurements that you are using for the practical. So now I'll go ahead and make the back, then I'll show you how to transfer it to your fabric, right? So let's continue with our class. You can see what the front looks like. So right now I'm going to cut it out and create the piece for our back. You're cutting on the blue marker. That was why I used a different marker so that we won't mix it up. So I'm trying to confirm. You can see now that my bust point is on the bust point, my natural waistline, the half length is on the half length, and the hip line, remember I came up with 1 inch and it's exactly on the point that I wanted. So these are things that would make you know that yes, this is confirmed. And also this is the center front unfold, so definitely you're not slashing here, you're cutting your fabric unfold. This is the first half and this is the second half, so this side is going to be unfold on your fabric. So let's go and cut the back and see. So what I'm about to do is that I want to put the front on another pattern paper. You can see this was the front that we just finished, so I placed it on a plain paper. I'm trying to pin it down so that you can see it very well. You can see all my lines, and I'll trace it. I'll trace all the sides, then I'll come back to the center back. The angle here is what we call the center. This part of the pattern paper is what we call the center back. Then you now label 2 piece. Remember when we were doing this is the front. I said center front unfold. That means you are cutting the fabric unfold. But for the center back, I said center back 2 piece. It means you are cutting 2 piece. 2 piece because you will install your zipper and it's going to pass through that center back. So I'm leaving this, but I'm tracing out every other part. So I'm only trying to trace it out here and just mark out the important lines that are here, the bust, the waist, and the blouse length line. Locate the darts again. So I need where this stop. If you have a tracing wheel, you can just trace out your dart and just trace it out. But I know most of you don't have. So I need to trace where the front line stopped. And I'll connect that straight line. So I'm trying to have the feel the front. Do you get? So this is the only thing that is distinguishing it. Hey, distinguishing it from the front. So exactly what we did on the waistline. This is another opportunity for you to get it in case you didn't get that. Remember, it's 1 inch below the bust point and 2 inches above the blouse length. So you connect, pin, and that's it. So you do half inch. We added it on the waistline, so we're taking it out. This is the simplest tutorial ever by Toilet Surface. It's like I'm shouting. Let me be calming down, right? So this is the waistline, and this is the dart for the back. So this is our zip line. So on the zip line, you come to the waistline because your back is not straight. Yeah, you can touch your back. Your back is not straight. So the waist part of the back goes in, you know. So on this part, you don't want this much bulge. So you can just reduce it so that you don't have it too much, because I left 2 inches space initially. So I'm going to do the back shaping. So I'm going to come in by 1 inch here, you get. Then on the waistline, I'll come in by 1.5 inch. And I'll come in by 1 inch on the bust, and I'll connect that line. So connecting the line is one very important thing that you don't want to do without. to make a quick recap of what I said. I put this on this, I traced it out, marked out every point, I took it away. Then from the 2 inches I left for the zipper allowance, I came in by 1. And on the waistline, I want it deeper because our back is not straight. So I came in with 1.5. And on this part 1 inch, and on the neck part 1 inch. I connected the line. Let me use the blue marker to trace it so that you can see that very well. So this is what we have, and this is what I'm cutting out. The allowance has been added because I traced the outer part of this. So the allowance has been added already, and I'm going to cut this out. And this is our center back. We are cutting 2 pieces of this. 2 pieces center back. So I've marked all my lines and I've marked every important thing. So this is my back piece. It's going to be 2 pieces on fabric. So 2 pieces on fabric. So I'm cutting it out right now. You can see it's as simple as ABC, and that is it. This is just how to cut your basic top. So we transfer it on the fabric, then we're gonna be sewing in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you're enjoying the foundation class. I can't wait for you to show me what you made. So this is like an assignment. You can drop it in any of our groups. You know, we have sewing community on Facebook, Telegram, and so you can drop it and so that I can see it. So you need to trace out the center back line carefully. Now I'm cutting my neckline. It's your girl Telex Half Freak, and I'm always ready to teach you. Yeah, so see you in my next video for the foundation class. Don't miss it. Make sure you follow every teaching. Make sure you drop your assignments. And thank you so much, guys. So I cut out my center back line, and voila, we are done cutting it. I love you guys. See you in the next video. Catch you.